Okay, what's up, TV Ghana? Boss, I'm not like no comment on money outside there. And you be I there, Ashe, what I said, Washa Mama. Now, John Jamani Mahama na BBC for a granting interview. Just as I'm granting in fear be a trim one, it could be saying, say, or a corrupt leader, what accepted bribe than they are no answer as well. I prior to elections, he BBC for us about interview. John Jamani Mahama, sorry. Now, or the same year to John and nsɛm no manfo animguaseɛ pɔtɔ even 24-hour economy no wɔntumi ayɛ dɛ nkyim na ɛm sɛ 24-hour economy no obiara kɔka ho asɛm a na all of a sudden ndc for mu bu including flag bearer ɛnyɛ asɛm koto nsɛm a wɔde ato dwa no animguasesɛm ma no as a flag bearer of a party a wɔde policy asa aba ɔmanfo opportunity multimedia hɔnom na yɛ dɛ kɔnakɔ geographic design bia printing branding emu bia kɔnakɔ ho ɛyɛ trinity multimedia concept ɔmo number ɛna gu screen no so no frɛ wɔn na ne ɔmo ɛnyɛ dɛ ɛnyɛ business ɔmanfo yɛ nkɔ de kɔsi ɛyɛ interview a ɛkɔ so between John Dramani Mahama and BBC journalist.
Will you accept the results of the December elections, regardless of the outcome?
If on the election day there's widespread ballot snatching and beating of people and the military moving and intimidate people and shoot people and thugs are all over the place rampaging, you want me to accept that result? It will depend on the transparency and fairness of the process.
Now, you've been campaigning on the promise of implementing a 24-hour economy. Can you explain to us what that means?
It's simple. I mean, if you incentivize businesses to run longer than 8 hours, they can't run with the same number of people. They'll have to employ some more people. The demand is there. We have the African Continental Free Trade Area. We have the ETLS, ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme.
How much will it cost your government to implement a 24-hour economy?
You can't put a cost on it immediately. 24-hour economy is not an event. It's a process. And so even while we're stabilizing the macroeconomic environment and bringing inflation down, bringing interest rates down, we'll be implementing the 24-hour economy. You're thinking about it as if we'll wake up overnight as soon as I'm sworn in a 24-hour economy.
Will you be able to do that in 4 years?
We will start, at least.
So your 24-hour economy then is a gamble?
It's not a gamble. Why would it be a gamble? 24-hour economy is not a new concept. It's been implemented in Sydney. It's been implemented in UK. It's been
these are
implemented
bigger economies.
in Singapore.
You can't compare Sydney,
but
Singapore,
they started
to Ghana.
somewhere. They started somewhere.
You have 4 years. Will you be able to implement that?
4 years, is that the end of Ghana? So after 4 years, that's it.
A new government comes in
and says we don't want 24-hour economy.
It's possible?
Well, that's Ghana's loss.
Ghana is among the few African countries to pass draconian anti-LGBT legislation, widely condemned by human rights groups. Will you sign it into law if it is brought before you?
It's not an anti-LGBT, it is a family values bill. It was approved unanimously by our parliament. You see, it's against our culture, African culture. It's against our religious faith, Muslim and Christian and all that. But I think that we must look at the bill, and the president must indicate what he finds wrong with that bill and send the bill back to Parliament. Or alternatively, he must send it to the Council of State and get the Council of State's advice.
Is that what you would have done?
That's what I would have done.
And will you ever sign an anti-LGBT bill?
It depends on what is in the bill.
Corruption is a very big problem in Ghana. You partly lost the 2016 elections due to the perception of corruption. Now, several allegations of corruption have been leveled against this government, including mismanagement of public funds, theft, and asset stripping. Are there any specific cases that you will be investigating if you win this election?
Every year, the Auditor General's report says that 15 billion was not properly accounted for and all that. If we can get a special court to implement the Auditor General's reports and hold people accountable, it will help us to reduce the amount of malfeasance that is taking place here.
When you were in government, you failed to address or find a sustainable solution to illegal mining. This government has also failed, and now the situation has worsened. About 60% of Ghana's water bodies have been polluted. What will you do differently this time to address the problem?
First, we're going to stop mining in forest reserves. Then, secondly, stop mining on the water bodies. You dig a leach pad where all the wastewater you're using will go in, and the water is held in the leach pad. We're going to hold the owners of the concession to account.
Will you continue with the prosecution of the anti-illegal mining protesters if you win the election?
I mean, to be remanded into custody for 2 weeks because of going on a protest, I think was high-handed, because they were raising attention to an issue that is of grave concern to all of us. And because of their protests, government brought an ally to parliament to reverse mining in forest reserves. So their protests achieved something. And so if I come, I'll let the Attorney General, file a nolle prosequi and stop their prosecution.
Amafo, inconsistencies na ɛwɔ ne nkasa yi. Ɔkɔka wei wɔ ha, na abɛka wei wɔ ha. Ɔka wei wɔ ha. What did you say? I was like, like different things. Don't Dramani Mahama. Consistently inconsistent. No. I'm kɔka wei, no one bɛka wei. Amafo, you go tie na po nsɛm bi a ɔde to edwan so. I will share teacher for. Records are why no serious as education minister or non one education minister ne pencil longest serving education minister ne pencil so teacher for anchor strike da anye demonstration da I won't pay open the animal for the chalk ho ye den a wo ka chalk asema na yi wadi and also say obe sign a first a contract no age 3 months pay for 4 years we ye adwuma 4 years na you aka 3 months and no na open one for you could equity.
The time teacher for Uncle strike. This is a market for good purpose. So in the last since 1992, I started Kebi Abebu. The only minister teacher for Uncle is a demonstration. In field 9, one of the longest serving ministers at post. Dr. Matthew. Mr. Paul, I go teacher unions, any unions, the whole Ghana, teacher for unions, NAT, NAGRAT, CCT, TU. Even the education minister, I go, hey, we do Kasa, and I tell them what food, hey, we do Kasa, we put you food, we did the attempt, we did, and so feel night, teacher, we are on cost strike. I know basic education course as well. University teacher for so again and cost strike. I didn't tell. This is a material bribe. You will scratch me. I don't know what you do bribe. That bribe you will start. I don't know what you do bribe. I get bribe with you and you me part now. I get bribe with you. In all that 8 years before 2001 to 2016, Obiara reforms our education system do more than Dr. Matthew Pogopem. We need last project I hear Ashton Asan Ede. See there, your friend will say, "What's for money maker?" I'm on your seminar here, and your fire agro deal. And you agro deal in Baby, I cook with tea, air to a banana for the extra with that. Anglican soft and the tea. And at the first say, when you're back with that, me out, you have to try me. More for dining, no more for her. So, be a year, which you have a cry, or which you are reception. And to pay the part, yeah, make a papa. I look at another car, a camera this year to be part. As an MP Dorman or body home one day, papa. Adia, na point to the onion, this MP by a rabbi. And adwuma a yɛyɛ no nipa baako ntumi yɛ ne nyinaa nyɛ bɛyɛ ɔba a no abɛbɔ bɔden no ayɛ bi bɛtumi na ɔfiri hɔ a wɔde ma ngu ase na deɛ ɔba no so deɛ ayɛ nyansasua na ɔno so ayɛ dɛn wayɛ bi ato afo ɛbɛ kakra na obi so aba saa ɛneɛ nana no bi kyerɛ kuro a ɛnɛ abɛduru yɛ so.
ɛm sɛ adwuma no wayɛ asi nanso aka bebree nyame yɛ adom a menim sɛ bebree na ade bɛba ɛno nti na yɛkɔto ama the new patriotic party no ɛno nti na yɛkɔto aba ama Dr. Mamudu Bawumia ɛno nti na yɛkɔto aba ama lɔya Baafo Awua ɛfiri sɛ yɛn ana yɛnya mu anigye enti yɛnkɔto aba ɛma obi a ɔmfa hwee ɛma manhyia saw timira nyame ɔnhyira wo.
That is na po no on records away. We mu na eto aba mo mu. Enya ya anomfo na wa be gyina ma concert na be kika de omo pe okoka we ha na be ka we wa ha kyena na be ka we wa ha be bi foforo akogina wa ka asem foforo saa mo de adwu we amafo ye koto aba to aba pa so what I say I TV Ghana ja comment section me ba me ka ma